nothing we have achieved as a country without going to the street and pushing hard. And again, as I end, because I don't want to take much time, people are here, let me say this. This movement is branded Genz movement. And if people are honest enough to change Kenya, or they want a new Kenya, then everybody must be a participant. If you leave it to a clique of group, it will fail. There is a group that will say we wanted finance bill to be dropped. There is a group that will say we want Ruto to go. There is a group that will say we want good governance. Now, these are three categories. So unless you merge them into one, anytime you are facing an opponent, don't go with so many demands. You always pick one which will overhaul everything. If it is good governance, whether finance, whether what, it all relies in good governance. So if it is good governance, let people say, regardless of who is there, because it's not a question of Ruto being in the office. It is a question of the system that put Ruto there. I don't know whether I was born or I was alive or not, but I can relate that the same president we have today went on the street to advocate for justice. The essence of law is to get justice. That is the creation of law. We have law in place to get justice, simple. So when the president went on the streets, what was the idea? What was the reason? He went there on the street and we saw what happened, some people or all of us. Then after that, in 2017, I don't know whether it's in 2010 and all that, 2010, we have a new constitution, 2010. The same, our president, current president, voted against constitution. Now, 2013, he was the president as a result of the new constitution. Then 2017, then 2022, and today. So I've never seen him come out to tell us why he was opposed to that 20% that people believe there was 20% which is wrong. And he was saying that he voted against this document because there was 20% which is wrong. So as an honest leader, once you are now become a leader like him today, he would have started even by 2013 to say that there was something wrong with this thing, though the majority had their way. So this is what I was saying. And I would like Kenyans to reflect on the same. Today is the president. He's telling us to follow the constitution, which he fought very hard against. And you expect us to believe him. I can't believe such a person, honestly, with the justice. It's not even possible. Because in law, you cannot probate and reprobate. It doesn't work. You cannot say this isn't good at the same time you say it's bad. It is either good or bad. So, as I end, let me say this. If we want to change Kenya, all of us must come out. But if we leave it to some pieces of narrative that it is finance, it is Ruto must go, it is good governance, it is not going to work because we will be moving in different directions. So we have to focus in one. And for my suggestion, one element or one item that we should pick on and deal with it to the end is the question of good governance, because all those things are under one umbrella. Is that good governance? Unless we do away with the current system completely, there is nothing we are going to achieve. Don't dialogue with the government on your grievances because they will follow law, and law does not give room for hearsays. There is no hearsay that you cannot bribe your way into the government. You must have a right way. So let me stop there, but let me say the last word. We either go in together or we get out, all of us. Otherwise, if we are not careful, we will be singing the song of who is a leader, who is this. The leaders cannot be, this group cannot be a leader. The moment you start to talk like you are being professional about the revolution, people from power through a democratic or constitutionally, which is let us stop everything, let us focus in civil education, we get people to get votes and all that. So come 2027, we vote the crooks out of the system completely, because I can see we are divided on various things. We are not even saying the same, we are not on the same page. So the moment you're not on the same page, they will use our narrative to divide us and defeat us. Pushing the locals are okay, all this narrative, it is the tactics of government, divide and rule method. If you are not very careful, they will divide it along the elite, along the Buddha, along diaspora, along the locals, along Nairobians, along up countries, along the coast, and in the end, they will dismantle it thoroughly. So don't allow that to come. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hello?
Sana Academia. One guy.
Okay. Hope you can get me now.
Yes.
Hello, Jeanette. You can get me, okay?
I can get.
Okay, so somebody has been hijacking my microphone so much. At least now you can listen to me. Thank you so much for this space that you've held. I want to begin by answering Mnaogopa Ruto. Definitely nobody fears Ruto. Want a space with him. I think the fact that Ruto has responded to meeting the Gen Zs, the millennials in the space is a proof enough that he has got the information that we have been trying to pass him. Therefore, it means if he wants a space, then it means he just wants to go deeper into decimating the ongoing protests against his governance. I think this guy already knows what we want. He already knows the country is in the wrong direction. He already knows the grievances that everyone is trying to yell throughout the country. Now, this guy, the same guy who wants space, we went to the streets, and this guy has the audacity to mobilize the protest, to misdirect the mission of where tell us in the space. So if anybody wants to join a space with Mr. Ruto, they can, but I can tell you forthright that this is one guy who is going to speak the same lies that he has been speaking. He spoke the same lies in the mainstream media with Kena Latif, Kina Ageyo. So I think basically we can listen to him however much we want, but his main agenda is to make sure that he deviates our attention from the ongoing protests. It is as simple as that. So if we give this guy room, and with his fluid mouth, I think he's going to manipulate so many guys who are going to attend that, and then we are going to leave that place like, I think we really need to give him time. And I don't think we are ready for that. We are going to dilute the whole concept of our demonstration. That is number one. Number two, Ruto has been held hostage by people who either funded him or people who he gets money from, or the people, his business associates in the government, whom are party to the looting spree that they're undertaking in the government. Now, this is one guy that I think we need to isolate an agenda and say, this week we are going to the streets. What is our agenda? The agenda cannot be Ruto must go, cannot be drop the finance bill. Two agendas at the same time. I think we need to choose on one agenda and say, Nakumincha is looting the health sector, coming up with a scheme, the shift scheme, that is going to, that is actually not solving the health crisis in the country. Now, we are going to the street saying that Nakumincha must go. That is if we go to the street with that as our theme, I think the whole country is going to listen to us. The government is going to listen to us. Now, when these MPs and these government executive officials and all the other arms of the government realize that they are being targeted by the Gen Z, they are going to remain isolated, and their power will be diluted and drained. And Ruto will realize that the people is looking up to as tribal kings and pins to look up to in 2027, he will say, these guys, they no longer hold the power I thought that they hold. So I really think he won't be able to work with them. So he can easily kick them out, knowing very well that they're not going to charge their tribe mates, our parents. Like you saw recently, a group of religious boomers went to an MP's house to cleanse his house after being burnt in a Maandamano. Now, let us educate our people back at home. Let us educate our parents so that come 2027 or any other time that Ruto is speaking is just mouthy. If our children don't trust him, why should we trust him? It is, remember, all our parents live for us. They're the people who have educated us. And if we really show them the dire situation which we are in because of Ruto, they're going to see, they will not be lied to by Ruto, because we all know that Ruto is a sweet talker. And I want to tell you guys, there's a saying that goes, an elephant can be eaten by ants. This is a spirit of working together and not losing focus. Anybody who is going to dilute or is going to make us lose focus on the agenda of a movement, we are not going to listen. Now, myself as an individual, I have the conviction, if I know that it is on Thursday that we are going to hold a revolution or we are going to hold a demonstration, I will go, regardless whether Mkenya Daima is saying that we are not going to the street. I will go, regardless whether Jeanette, who is an influencer, is not going to go to the streets. I have decided that I've woken up in the morning and I've decided that I'm going to the streets. So each and every one of us, let us have that personal conviction to go without listening to the influencers, because we all know that some influencers work for personal benefit. They are going to buy people, and they're going to buy individual people who are extremely influential, people like Mwangi. Now, am I going to listen to Mwangi because I know that I want to go? I'm not going to listen to Mwangi. So let us hold together. Let us the spirit, what the particular thing you're suffering from, caused by this government, push you to the street. Let not be discouraged by an influencer. Let us give ourselves the energy every day. If you meet somebody in the Twitter spaces, just encourage them, just tell them, oh, my friend, whether so and so is saying you're not going to the streets, please don't listen to them. Let's go. I think also that is going to help us